this video is going to explain how to depin a connector C556 or connector 556. If you look up on the internet, you will find a pinout for one of these. That pinout gives you a wiring diagram, but it does not give you the duplication wire locations. You have 4 sets of wires that have the same colors: blue, black, yellow, red, blue, yellow, and black. Before we get into that, I want to cover what you're going to need in order to fix this issue. Honda still currently sells a pin tool set. It lists for $93.08. The cheapest one I've found is at Bernardi Honda for $65.34. I would highly recommend getting one of these because no telling how long they're going to be around before they discontinue those. This crimper, Honda 10535, it has been discontinued. If you go to Autoplicity, I have found a painless wiring accessory, and the part number is 70900, and this item is basically the same thing as a Honda tool. You've got all the little crimping details that you need. One thing I did not include is the PDF that you can download on the internet that shows you exactly how to do wire splicing for Honda. I'll have to put that information in the description box. But this was $40. I think there was some shipping and handling, but I believe it came to like $50 or less. So pretty good deal. The next thing is going to be, and I'll get a close-up of all these before I shut this video off, is a crimper for splices. That's $212.87. They still sell the dies for this crimper. I think they're like $100 or something like that. You can go to Harbor Freight and get one for $7.50. It's $10, $9.99, but with the 25% off coupon, which is easily found, it is Harbor Freight item 97420 and it is basically identical to the Honda one. So just put your crimpers in. There goes my flash. It's an extremely hot day and the flash is not going to stay on, unfortunately, so I'm just going to have to work without it. Also, this camera mount's not going to last long either, so it's going to get shaky. So hopefully you guys just appreciate the information and don't focus on the distractions. But all you do is you stick them in there. They're color coded. I've actually got my dies loose because I was going to take them out to compare them to the Honda die set, but I never got around to doing that at a dealership. So crimper, save a bunch of money, obviously. Let's see, what do we have next? Heat gun, $75.70 at Honda. Again, Harbor Freight. And I'm going to have to take the camera off. Harbor Freight, heat gun. Item number 96289. I think it's regular like $14.99, but you can get it for $7.99 when it goes on sale that low, or sometimes inside track coupons or coupons in a magazine or online, and you can even put 25% coupon off on top of that if the cashier doesn't really pay attention, and that'll get you $6 for a heat gun. So that's for the tools. And if you can't afford the pin tool set, just go to Walmart and spend a couple bucks on needles. And you're going to need the big needle over here. Believe it or not, that's the only thing you need in order to depin one of these connectors. I had a lot of items. I had a snap-on tool that was, I think, TT1203. It's for GM. It was flat and it kept slipping off, and it's not what you want. This covers all 6th generation Civics, if I hadn't already said that, and also I believe 94 to 2001 Integras, but don't quote me on that. I have a 96 EX and I have a coupe. So this unfortunately is what you're going to have to deal with. If you have the sedan, you can go online and search for C556. You'll find a pinout. Somebody, I believe on Honda Tech, had it available. And this pinout is as if you were facing the back of this. So if this was the driver's side, this would be inside your door like that. The secondary lock, which is that white piece right there, would be facing the ground. This would be facing the top, and there's a rubber boot that goes around it and another plastic clip that wraps around that. So we've covered the tools, covered the location of the part. Now we're just going to cover the wiring schematic, or the pinout. Most of this is self-explanatory, but I'll go over this anyway. And these go in order: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way down to 25. And what I have here is the wires on the top row are all hot for my car, and it's probably the same for the sedan. These are likely hots as well. The grounds are these two down at the bottom. So to understand, I didn't make a legend, I'll just go over it with you. Obviously this wire's for the window. I believe this is probably right front, since this is left front and they're hot. You have, the wire is majority green. The second color is the stripe color. It's a black stripe. Again, it's hot. It's whatever the battery voltage is, plus or excuse me, minus resistance. So in the first one, you're going to have green, black, blue, black, sedan, white, green. That's for the lock. This is the bigger gauge, is the circle. The smaller gauge is going to be the period. So if you see one of those in the upper hand corner, there's a duplication of this wire, and the smaller gauge wire is going to be somewhere else. Blue, orange, sedan, white, red, lock, large yellow, red wire, lock, small yellow, red wire, mirror, blah blah blah, yakety smackety. Blue. These are your speakers here, and you don't want to be hooking up power to those. You got your locks, your mirror, another lock, and this is your ground for your window. I know that for a fact. I imagine this is probably your ground for either the power mirrors and or locks, and this may be for the windows and another item such as your locks or your mirrors. This is for mirrors with the defogger. I think Canadian cars have that, and JDM cars I know have it, but I think Canadian cars have it. Nothing for this in any of them, SIs or anything. Here are your part numbers. Now, I think we've covered everything. We've got the tools. Now we're going to show you how to depin this. Let me set this up on the camera again. But before I do that, one other tool you're going to need is compressed air and an air nozzle. And you're going to shoot air through these holes on the terminal side. You're going to blow air. What that's going to do is that's going to take all the grease that's in here and shoot the grease out the back. You can save that for later if you want, or you just repack it with Vaseline. But you want to get it cleaned up, and that's one of the best ways to do it, is just use air and force it out and then wipe it up with a paper towel. Once you do that, you're going to want to pull this secondary lock out. And the last tool I didn't cover, which I'm sure somebody has close to one, I have a 2.4mm flathead that works perfectly for this, and that's for undoing the secondary lock. If this lock is not shut and you're not paying attention, you cannot put this back into the door because it'll be impeding the process. You also always want to check to make sure that this is up while you're taking the pins in and out. So you can't force a pin in, you can't take one out without this lock open, and it's got to be right at the right distance. So let me set this up on the tripod and I'll show you how to put these in and out. Okay, secondary lock, you're just going to put a flathead 2.4mm screwdriver and it pops up just that far. And since there's nothing in here, let me show you why. This is all it is. It just locks in all the wires. And that's the reason why you can't remove this all the way out either if you're trying to take it out. If you've got the pins in, you have to remove all the terminals. So alright, just snapped right into place. It should be sitting right about there. That's a little high, I think. Yeah, I believe it should be right there. So, alright. Now, one other problem you're going to run into is, I didn't go over the joint terminal, I don't believe, on that paper. But your replacement part is going to be this right here, 07 Jazz 001330A. And it comes in a pack of 25. So if you're going to do a sedan, you're going to order 2 packs of these. You might as well order 2 packs anyway. They're only like $5 a piece. And these are for the smaller gauge wires. Those larger gauge wires that are, I think, 16 to 20, I have not been able to find the part number for them yet. I can tell you that they are not the 1380s, because I have a 1380 right here and it's clearly not it. It's way too short. It looked like it in the picture. It didn't look like it, but it looked as close as any of the other ones that were available. So this part is likely discontinued. So you're going to unfortunately just have to use one of these, and you're going to have to probably crimp it on the wire instead of the insulation. So I'll cover that in a little bit. But okay, so the top, this hole right here is where the lock goes into, and the locking mechanism will be, if you're, the primary lock will be on the top, the secondary lock will be on the bottom. And so you have this hole right here, keep coming out of frame, sorry, and that's going to slide in. I'll put it in the middle until it locks. And I just heard it lock. Alright, and now it won't come off. And then you push the secondary lock in, and then that secures it. And that thing's definitely not going anywhere. So you have to undo the secondary lock and then remove the primary lock. Now, in order to remove the primary lock, I'll grab another wire here so you can see. You're going to ride the bottom of this, and it's going to go in about a centimeter, about 10 millimeters. So you're going to take it and insert it into the connector. I'll show that in a second. But right now you just want to see the angle. It's going to ride the bottom. It's going to stop and hit the plastic that's locked in to this square right here. And when you get it, I like to draw back a little bit and then stab it so that you make a good indent, and then you just push down like this. You're going to pull it down, and while you're doing that, you pull the wire out the back. Now when you're looking in here, I apologize because I don't have any light here. I don't know if I can get some backlight. Hold on a second. Alright, I'm using a Harbor Freight 27 LED flashlight to help with the lighting situation. So we have ours in the third row up there, and the primary lock is at the top. So I'm just going to flip this over. I mean, I don't have to, but alright, so we'll just show it this way. So you're going to run it in the top up here, because the terminal is only 2/3 down. It's from here to here. You've got an open cavity up here, and that's where you slide this pin in to hit the lock, and then you're going to lift it up. So in order for me to be able to do that a little easier, I'm going to use this vise, and it comes right out. So you're going to slide it in, actually down at an angle, and then lift it up. If it was upside down, it'd be the other way. So let me do that again. I'm in the middle one again, and second row, and I'm going to slide down inside, get it, lift up, and then just pull it out. And it's just that easy. And you're just going to do that for all of them. And I took out all these. I had cut one off in the junkyard because I had destroyed mine because I didn't know how to use it, and there was no videos available on YouTube, and some guy ended up ripping all his out and replacing it with like an EP3 connector, and did all kinds of stuff that was completely unnecessary. So this is to show you that you can do it a much better way, and you can do it the right way and have it back to factory. So I highly encourage anybody who has a EK3, EK9, whatever you have, an EM1, to replace it the correct way. It doesn't cost much. I showed you all the tools of how to do it. I showed you how to do it. There's videos online of how to get access to it. You've got to slide your ground effects towards the front bumper to release them. You got to take off the front bumper to get the fender off to get access to it. But you may be lucky enough to where if you only got one or two, or you have some small hands, you can just open up the door and work in between the fender and the door to be able to have access to this connector. Otherwise, if you want to have ample room, take your time, and be careful not to scratch your paint by removing the fender, and make sure you make marks of around the bolts and where the fender lines up, so it'd be easier to put back together. I'm going to pause the video and think about anything else that I didn't cover. Here's that tool I originally picked up, flat blade, the TT1203, and it's a 1.5 millimeter by 24.75 millimeters. Now this worked, but it took me about 5 hours to get 5 of them out, and that was the only acceptable because it's just a flat blade and it slips off of it. Now if you were to saw some grooves into it to get teeth, then it would probably stab it and grab it, but that's why pay $13 or whatever it was, $16 I think it was for the tool, just to destroy it, when you can just go buy a $1 needle that's going to do the trick perfectly. And then once I used this, I did this sedan with 24 wires, had this whole thing depinned in under 5 minutes. So 5 and 5 hours, and the whole connector with way more than a coupe in 5 minutes. I think I'm going to go with the needle. Any questions? You can ask me and I'll get to them as soon as I possibly can. Good luck to everybody. Remember, if you have a intermittent problem with your power windows or your locks or your mirrors or all three, and you think it's a regulator and you replaced it, or you start throwing parts at it, this is probably your culprit right here, especially if you open up your door and all of a sudden you'll get a connection, and then your windows will work sometimes or they won't work. But if you hold the door just right, you can get it to work for a little while on any of the powered items that are located in your door. If that happens, more than likely you have a broken wire in here or a bad connection, and you know that constant opening and closing throughout the years is going to wear and finally break. One last thing I didn't cover though that I got to say is that when you do these, you need to strip the wire, and you need to leave about 1 millimeter of length in between. So if you can see right there, the wire insulation comes, it's a little too much insulation, that's a little too far, but the insulation needs to come up into past the first crimp, and then the wire needs to go about 1 millimeter past the second crimp. And when you strip these wires, you should only be stripping the insulation. The manual states that if you even lose one wire comes off, or you accidentally cut it because you cut it too close, you need to cut back further. Now that's a little overkill because you only have so much wire here, and you keep cutting back, you're not going to have enough wire to reach the connector from the floor harness to the connector. So, you know, do your best, and if you screw up, you can always use a pigtail and splice it and heat shrink it. So again, good luck. I hope this information helps a lot of people, because I had not seen one video out there that showed how to depin this, and everybody online who said they were able to depin it didn't actually tell anybody how to do it. So I hope this helps.